I mean, people have come up to me but not like it.
Yeah.
Regardless. Did you see that, Mary?
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah.
Dumb question, since we accept Marissa's resignation, have you open that? Is that open on that?
The job or the volleyball? Is that what you're talking about?
We haven't opened it
Yes, but we were waiting for
vote on
Brent
it,
to.
I don't know, I mean, we haven't seen it, I didn't know if it was automatically.
Didn't we already,
I don't,
We accept the
we
resignation.
accept it, I just don't know if we posted it.
accepted the resignation?
That doesn't automatically open, it doesn't.
That does automatically open.
But I had a couple people ask me, like, well,
Yeah.
that was the other thing I was gonna ask you. I think it was like.
And all, what was the other one? We're at 7.
We'll open up, we'll open that up tomorrow. I thought it was open.
Not for you, but it's for you. Somebody, all right. I pledge allegiance to the flag, of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, 7 o'clock, we got everybody but Tony.
Okay, welcome guests. Make a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
I make a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Okay, moved, seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Okay. Public comment or questions? Anybody have any non-related items they'd like to discuss? Okay.
Can I do something real quick?
Yep.
It's not on the agenda, I'm just curious about it. Are we done with, or are we expecting more job descriptions to come in? I kind of expected to see those on.
We do have more.
Okay.
Yeah.
The one,
Hang on, sorry, we stopped this.
Product aware.
Oops, sorry.
You guys
Just
aren't
making
on
sure I
yet.
had it. Yes, so we do have a lot more.
oh, okay, I'm just curious, if we didn't see them this time, so we just wanted to.
Yeah. We had enough tonight. Yeah.
And, just for reference, Adam, it looks like yours has to look like the Stars Act, right? Your job description.
I'm gonna write that down and do some research.
The Stars Act includes language that you can,
To be-
clerk's job.
To be included as part of the STARS teacher incentive, that's something that we need to get on that, because I know that in the STARS legislation, superintendents, principals, and clerks are supposed to be included in that description. But I wasn't aware that.
Yeah,
they
no,
needed
there's
to
a page of
Cool.
clerk stuff in there.
It's in the 70% portion of
Yeah.
what it has to meet, so yes.
Okay, cool. Anyway, I was just wondering if you were gonna have more of it.
No comment. Okay, anybody else, non-agenda item? Okay, we'll move on to the consent agenda.
All right, well, let's start, I guess, before any questions.
We need to make a motion here first.
We got one other one.
Well, I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Okay, we're moving second, any discussion?
All
I
right,
do have a couple of questions.
let's go for it.
Warrants again, of course.
Yep.
Does it look like we bought another $2,000 battery?
So one of those is a cancel. Jeff brought it up today. Jason said that we talked about it last month. I will get a fax, I will get an email, and I will also get a mail copy from Senex, or Napa, depending on the timeline. So it looks like I wrote a check and then I had to cancel that check because I already paid it. So that, if you look in the warrants, is under canceled checks from November. I wrote 2 of them. So that is on the register. And if you remember right, we didn't have the second part of the the register from November, so that's where that's in, is the first part, so it's a
Right.
carryover.
Yeah.
And we decided we would report it this month.
Yeah, just curious about that. The, oh, yeah, and I know that I should probably know this, it's on 4 of 6. 4 of 6, I'm sorry. Must be the new one.
Okay.
What is a reverse deposit? I always call that a withdrawal.
That would be a withdrawal if you were taking money for yourself. So page 4 of 6, we have a reverse deposit, and it is to Lake County
The Valley Bank.
or Valley Bank.
Okay,
So-
can't find it, of course.
So what happened was I have 2 accounts with Valley Bank. One for it's called Benevolent Fund, where we run all of our adult ed, driver's ed, all of that stuff in. It's basically a holding account where if you have a bad check go through, our bank catches it before we send it up to the county and run it through their bank. We also have one for hot lunch. So in my haste in one of the months, I flipped those 2 around. And so the big check came out of school nutrition, and the smaller check came out of adult ed when I sent it up to the county, which then meant I had to reverse that deposit by taking money back out of those accounts, sending it to the bank. We were basically overdrawn going into the end of the year. We were overdrawn in one of those accounts. Those accounts have about, one of them's got a $100 balance, the other one's got a $12 balance. They're just pass-through accounts. So when I flipped those, we ended up with a negative balance. So I had to do a reverse deposit or withdrawal, Mr. Marchand,
Yeah,
and cross
we
those
just-
back over to make sure that we were.
Curious what
we
they
were
were.
even.
No, this is
Yep.
good.
It was the best creative writing I could come up with to explain.
I'm gonna use it, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
reverse withdrawal. Tell Connie.
Reverse deposit.
Reverse
Yeah.
deposit. So,
Oh, that's all I have.
Any other comments on the consent agenda? Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
thank you guys.
We are on to presentations, and I think we have a special group here tonight. And
One more,
sorry.
school presentations, elementary will be March, April, middle school, and May high school. Yep. Now,
Sorry, okay. Michelle Mitchell, Tribal Education Department. Can you give us an AWARE project presentation?
Yeah. Hi,
Thanks for coming.
yeah, I'm Michelle Mitchell. I'm the department head for tribal education for the Confederated Salish and Kootenai Tribes. And today I brought part of my crew with me. So the 2 filmmakers are back here at the table, Shadow Devereaux and Coulter Olmsted. And then Kristen Tooteeth is the program manager for Project Aware. And then your teacher for St. Ignatius is Lauren Claremont, and previously was Adele Martin. And so every year we do a video, and it's digital storytelling of our project. And so we are currently in year 4. We would like to share year 3 in review with you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Michelle.
is designed to fit in with what's already going on in the schools, to supplement it, to make sure that our tribal kids have access to things that they might not have outside of school, and to make sure that it helps them understand who they are as tribal people. My name is Michelle Mitchell, and I am the department head for tribal education. Kids are the most important thing every single day. When I smudge and I get ready to go to work, that's what I'm thinking about, what's best for kids every day. And so for us to be able to do that, we have to know them individually and collectively, and that means building a relationship with as many of them as we possibly can, and then by figuring out what their gifts are, what maybe their purpose, you might not know it yet, and also what their needs are, and try to help fill in any gaps that there might be.
The most important thing about Project Aware is we're creating an opportunity for people to connect not only to their culture, but also to the community, and also provide the support. You know, we are providing that culture of peace for a lot of people. They're able to connect to their culture, and, you know, having that connection is really, really powerful. So to be able to kind of have that and like encourage that.
Project Aware fits into the schools and the communities. Each of the school is different on how they provide cultural opportunities to the schools. Project Aware comes in and kind of enhances those. Like we give more opportunities than what is available. As far as the community events, there's camps, professional development. Those are things that we've been able to provide out in the communities. We get to work with kids on a multi-tiered system, so where all the kids benefit, but then there's kiddos that might need a tier 2, and we give them a little bit more, and then there's tier 3. So based on what kids need, we're able to provide opportunities to them. The most important thing I think about Project Aware is kids being able to feel confident in who they are with their self-identity, being strong, so that at the end of the day they go home and they're making healthier choices. In talking about what happened with Project Aware this year, I also need to get personal and talk about what happened in my life, because as the driver of the crazy train, when things happen to me or in my life, it affects the work. And so that happened this year because my dad got sick and then he passed away. I had to ask other people and trust other people to step in. And so people did, and people on this team were amazing. Whitehead Youth Council was my brainchild, and so I asked 2 of my program managers to step in. It goes back to what I was talking about with relationship. The 2 program managers had to go through the phases of a new relationship and building that trust as well. When we have things like this happen in our lives, it's really important that we don't protect our kids from it, that we bring them into it, because weakness is powerful, and our kids need to see the humanness in life and see that I have all these amazing programs and you know, nonstop things on my calendar and requirements that I have to fill, but I'm human. It's hard, but it's good for our kids to see us how to navigate this in a healthy way. And so pushing through it was the only option. We still made a difference because of the impact that those trainings and those camps made on the people who were able to engage in it, and the new families that we reached, and the new students that are finding out what we're all about. And at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. Everything that we do is based in relationship. If we don't have relationships with all the pieces and parts that are moving in this crazy project, then none of it works. So our teachers have to have relationships with their students, their families, their administrators, and each other. They have to have relationships with all of the Project Aware staff that are coming from the tribe to provide support in their classroom. And you can see the difference between year 1 and year 3 in the classrooms, because when our knowledge keepers walk in the room, it's this relationship that has been established and fostered and continues to grow. And we're showing our kids how to be a team and have healthy relationships, which is so important for their lives. When we model it for them and then engage in it with them, then they're recognizing like, this is what real life is like.
I was always brought up to say is that we never reveal what we have as culture and traditional, but we've lost a lot of our elders, and that had all this knowledge, and I have some of that knowledge.
Solidify or grow our own knowledge base, because we come in, we might have a little bit of knowledge about how to do this thing, but the deeper you get involved in the groundwork, light bulbs go on every now and then, and it's like, oh, I never thought about that, or I didn't see it that way. That really builds their sense of self and their I'm part of this community. I am accepted. I am recognized.
It's stuff that you're not going to ever learn from anywhere else besides from having to go out and talk to your elders and actually searching for that information. But most times you don't even know it's there, so you're not going to search for it. It's the matter of not knowing. I want to know that stuff. And it's like there's an area and there's stuff that happens in that area, especially around here, like these plans. Like most stuff has a meaning and have a use to it. And it's like I can carry that information.
Relationships go both ways, and the longer that we work on these, the better that our kids are going to be able to navigate relationships themselves. When we create these relationships, it also creates trust, and that's how we're making a difference.
We normalize the fact that we can incorporate culture into the classroom, even when it's like you still need to do your academic requirements for the course, you're still able to like incorporate all of those. So you're like meeting with the kids where they're at. And I think that's really wonderful because it's showing kids like, I just need to attempt it and I need to give it a shot. And that's okay. What I noticed in the change is not only individual growth, but also the ability to acknowledge that they need support and they're willing to ask for it.
Trying to create programs, establish programs, and then teach things along the way. So it's very involved. I say every step of the way there's something that I'm doing or helping create with our knowledge keepers and with our community members. There is no typical day. I think what keeps me involved in this is seeing the excitement, seeing the changes that are coming within our students, the relationships that are developing with that, the pride that they are taking in doing something they thought that they could never do before. Learning not only about who they are, about where we are, where they come from, but embedding culture, embedding tradition into everything in a way that just makes sense. It's not doing anything out of the ordinary. It's doing normal, regular things. And the kids realizing that they can do it and they have a reason to come to school. They have a reason to be here and continue on, and finding something that they're enjoying in ways that they didn't think they ever would before. Most important is the activities that we do on the land with our knowledge keepers, with our community members. I think that keeps our kids involved. This is something that's the rest of their lives. That's something that they can bring home and teach. That's connections to so much of our history, our lives, our who we are as as Indigenous people. That's where Project Aware has changed so much of it. Is if we're wanting to harvest our ayut, our husk, we go out and do that, and we take an entire day. You have to be able to go somewhere to do those things versus somebody just giving you a little packet of medicines or something. The fact that we're able to go out and do these things and connect. And I think that's so amazing and so important.
I say I'm more like culturally connected than I was last year and years before. It's very educational. I've definitely learned a lot more things than probably my family could tell me.
I like
doing more hands-on things and I learn easier when I'm doing hands-on things. So when I was in school, just kind of looking at the smartboard all day, I really wasn't retaining much information. But overall, I do like project work.
And we've been doing is just like really enjoyable. Like I used to sit in school a lot. Now I don't really, because it's pretty fun. And it's so really cool to learn about our culture, especially out in Iowa. That's cool.
I would love to bring other teachers into this, but I would love to make it so it's not just within our walls and within our program. I would love to get this out further because there's so many more kids that could benefit from this versus the limited space that we have within our Indigenous.
I think kiddos have become more confident in what they want taught in the classroom. They're now making requests. Instead, it was like the teacher and our resiliency specialists and knowledge keepers that are kind of pitching ideas, but now kids, they take a lesson and they want to build on that. They want to become the knowledge keepers. I've seen kiddos, not just in the classroom, but during the summer or after school events, like wanting to learn so that they can turn around and teach their younger kiddos or their siblings. The more you work one-on-one with the kiddos or each classroom, they see you on a more regular basis, and so you're building a relationship. When we do community events, you get to see them, not just them, but their whole family, and so you're building your relationship there. When you get to go into the schools on a more regular basis, then they see you as a safe person in the community, and they can go to you, and you're like a trustworthy person.
We've lost a lot of our elders and that had all this knowledge. And I have some of that. And this is our Aboriginal territory, and it's teaching them who we are. And they're accepting it. And the kids are accepting it. The high schools are accepting it. The teachers are accepting it.
Try something that we haven't tried yet, or that worked really well. How can we improve it? Let's do that. And that's exactly what camp is the example of, is we just kept getting better and better and better. And now I feel like this was the best year.
What I liked about this year's camp was that, one, it was next to the water, showing our youth, our community members, that there's other places within our reservation that we can enjoy. We have so many beautiful locations throughout this reservation, and people are not aware of it. The knowledge keepers brought new ideas, like our new activities to participate in. I kept teasing Paxine about the canoes, and he came through. He came through with the canoes at the end, and I was really proud of that. And then see families continue to return that have been at the other camps, but then there was new families that, because of the location, they were able to make it. So we got new families to come and participate and then say, I want to keep coming. Like, I didn't know you guys were doing this. So there was so many positives. I had family that came from out of town. They grew up here, but wanted to come out and participate, and were only planned on being there for a day and instead stayed several days.
This is the third year that I'm doing this. I come back because of, I didn't notice it, but I notice it now of how many people are affected by what I do. I've got so many people that I recognize the face but don't know the name. They're, hey, how you doing? And it's like, that tells me that, they remember that moment. And not only that, but when it comes to fire making, there's something about it that's real powerful. It's like a sense of accomplishment, or it's a self-esteem builder. It could take a very mild-mannered person and fill them with confidence that is just life-changing. So it's very powerful.
Great for the people, their knowledge and their strength, and their strength and connection to their culture and language is really important. I realized the last couple of years the Project Aware helped me be engaged with kids, engaged with people. And just, it helps you grow, helps you push and want to do more and more for the people. So Project Aware is a great deal, and I'm thankful to be part of it. To bring cultural knowledge educators into the schools and teach them things. And then they in turn bring that home, teach their parents, family members, that in turn turns into community thing. You know, next thing will be these camps, which is bring community in more. The more and more people you bring in, the more and more they learn.
I have taught at other camps, culture camps before, but not one this big or long. I came back because I love teaching how others make pino baskets.
We've been having lots of fun, and we've noticed that we haven't been noticing the time.
To me, it's just seeing families together, and it's pretty rare too. You don't get to see families come and learn together, which is also one of my favorite parts of camp.
I keep coming back because it's a beautiful opportunity for knowledge keepers and youth and elders to come together to get that knowledge, that intergenerational knowledge transfer. I feel like every time I have any of our youth or any of our community members coming to learn the knowledge that I'm sharing at camp, it always leads into even deeper culture and even deeper stories. So I love when they come and they're ready to, get that knowledge and to hear from me.
My dad wanted to teach me about culture, but I couldn't do that at home. Time has flew by and we were having fun together.
I learned a lot about how you can use hides for shags and stuff on your regalia, and just tons of stuff like that. Just little things.
Meeting new people, making stuff that I haven't before.
I feel like it's important for youth to be at culture camps just because we don't get that experience all the time. And when we do, it's just for a short amount of time or a day, especially if it's at school. Someday, the people that know that knowledge won't be around. So I guess just do it now, better than later.
A lot of them come from homes where they're not really sure who the next generation is. So having these overnights where you can sit around a campfire after spending the day cleaning cabins and digging pits, and you can just have conversations, it builds those lasting relationships. And it allows those kids to see the models of what a good adult looks like, what a good life looks like, so they can model it and they can become those good adults.
Because it shows us around us that we're still here and we're still around, but it also shows them that we do have what it takes to be in roles of leadership instead of just being told what to do all the time. We are a new upcoming generation, and now a lot of kids are looking up to us to see what to do next and what their next step is, while at the same time we are still looking up to older generations, asking what the next step is. So it's important to ask that, but then also tell that. I wouldn't be able to do that on my own. It's been new experiences, but also good experiences.
I think it's important for me or many others to have a voice, just to kind of show interest and to show others what it's like to live within this community.
Young people can also be leaders as well. They just don't know it yet. This is a good way to put your voice out there, show you how to be a leader, when to be a leader.
It really helps me to be a better patient teacher when I have multiple people from multiple different ages and walks of life wanting to learn. It makes me feel okay, this isn't going to be lost. This way of life is going to continue because they're just sponges already naturally. So I don't have to fight too hard to keep our head in your ways. It's just in them. Even if they're not even crazy, they just love knowledge. I'm a real believer that confidence has to come from real accomplishment, and you can't give kids real accomplishment. You can give them opportunities, you can give them support, but they have to accomplish it. And I've seen numerous times where kids who didn't want to speak, didn't want to be in front of a group, didn't want to take over things, found opportunities to just gradually the first year and then more and more and more step up and be leaders. I think Project Aware stresses that. We're all in this together. We're all bringing our community to the next phase, and we have to trust each other to see our oopses, our mistakes, and fill in the cracks.
You have students leaving and students coming in. And so I think is that to help these students that are coming up to take help and take that leadership is that we're going to have to do things we've done last year because they can help be that teacher. And that's going to give them that chance to stand up and be leaders, the leaders that this is what we want, and the leaders of having that knowledge and keeping that knowledge and help teaching it. So these are just the baby steps. And then we're giving these young kids that ability to start teaching it, and then they're going to continue on. I think that that's how we should really look in the year in review, right? Like these are the things that we accomplished, and it's still creating change and showing progress. And so maybe instead of the number that is important, it's the quality of what we produce that's more important, and focus on those things instead.
Do you have any questions?
That was amazing.
That was a great video. Yeah,
Thanks.
that was wonderful.
Yeah, we keep getting better at those too. Yeah.
Well, I think Shadow's done a few, so you
Yeah.
might have found a good one.
Yeah. We're keeping
One
them
thing I
around.
noticed, I liked how the kids seemed so engaged in all the projects. And I know we all know that's not easy to do,
Yeah.
but you know, and I know it's a video, but it looked like everybody was participating and
Yeah.
eager to learn, which is amazing.
Lauren, do you want to speak to how that looks in your classroom?
Sure.
So Lauren's new to us this year, but we have been utilizing her skills at camp every summer. So we have a standing relationship. But so he was talking about how engaged the kids are in the work that we're doing.
Yeah. It's been a learning experience just because this is my first year teaching in a classroom. I have almost 130 students about, so 7th grade to 12th grade. I didn't really know what to expect coming into this, but from the camps that I've worked, man, it's so connected. Like the first day you'll see kids come in with, where's the Wi-Fi? Where's this? And they're like, oh, we're on camp and there's no service here. And they're kind of coming in even too with like some behavioral issues. But like when we're at Vandenberg camp, we don't have any service. You can't be on your tablet, you can't be on your phone. And so you're not forced to, but in a way you have to engage with the stations you have going on, with the land and with the people. And you notice with the kids, especially who have been there the whole week, by the end of the week, they're calmer. They're asking you questions, you know, have more patience. Their attention span is not shorter, it was longer. So it's really cool to see the difference at these camps. And you see kids wanting to be involved. Whereas before, sometimes I see in the school system, they're like, oh, I don't want to do it, or oh, I'm too shy. But by the end of these camps, especially, you see them like, oh, I want to do this, or I want to do that, or I saw those kids do it, I want to do it too. So trying to kind of like bring the idea of community and connection into especially Mission, but all of our schools on the reservation is really important. You know, trying to even work with the elementary school and have the younger kids and the older kids work together, bringing elders in. It really is important. I get really good feedback from our students saying they like it when people come in. It feels good to have someone else be a voice and to do these hands-on activities and to go outside. I hope that gives you.
No, it's perfect.
And if you have any questions for me, my room is just over there. So,
If you haven't met Miss Claremont yet, it's a great. She's in, and I mean she's everywhere all day. Language, grabbing students going across the street to the garden, grabbing students going here, going there, doing dry meat, so she keeps them active, hands-on, is really what's going on either outside the classroom or in the classroom, very engaged and doing a great job.
Amazing things.
So we have 3 schools involved in Project Aware. It's Ronan, Mission, and Polson. And so each of them is like every building in a district is different, right? So imagine that in 3 separate districts. So each of them is different. And what we found with Lauren's classroom, because she inherited it from Adele, right? So she's the Salish language teacher, but she sings with her kids every day. And none of the other classrooms get that. And so I think that that's a really important gift that those kids don't even realize that they're getting. Like, if you were to ask kids in the Ronan classroom if they could sing their morning song, I don't think they could. But if you were to ask her students, they could all lead the morning song for us. So there's gifts in each of the classrooms because each of the teachers have their own gift that they're bringing to it. But in addition to that, we contract with Knowledge Keepers, and I'll have Kristen Two Teeth come up and talk about that a little bit. She was trying to get out of it.
Senior night in Ronan.
This is Tirza Two Teeth's mom. Tirza's ranked #1 in the nation in women's wrestling.
So we have knowledge keepers that are contracted for all school year, and then we have like temporary knowledge keepers that we bring in for just like a particular knowledge or gift that they have shared. But we have Myrna Dumontier, Rosemary Kai, Marilyn Kai, Jan Gardapi, and John Stevens. And they split their time equally between the 3 schools. Maybe 1 month it might be more heavier in Mission, and then another month it might be a little bit more heavier in Polson. But they come in with knowledge from place names, taking kids on field trips, providing knowledge, that background history on that, harvesting different plants and medicines. Lauren wanted to have stick game at the beginning of the year, so we brought in some knowledge keepers to teach the kids how to play stick game down here. John Stevens has come down and taught the kids how to make fire. We've done drum making. I don't know if we haven't done drum making this year. Okay, but Adele and Alicia, we did. And then sometimes we have like our temporary, it might be summertime that we have them, or if there's a special request, the teacher might say, hey, I'm doing a history project on kinship and like history versus modern. Like, can we have somebody come in and talk about what were their roles back in the day versus what are our roles now as far as a mother, grandparent, a mother, a child, and so, or we've done a veterans project where there's just a whole plethora of things that we get to do, but it's exciting to see the kids bond with the knowledge keepers. And I love hearing our knowledge keepers talk about when they see the kids in public outside of school and the relationship where the kids want to greet them and say hello and introduce their family. That's really special. I think that's one of the best things out of it. So is there anything else you want me to?
No, I think that's it. Yeah. We had 3 community engagement events over the winter break to bring the kids in, and they have been our highest attended events so far.
I was like, I want to plan something during Christmas break for kids, but then at the same time, the day before, I'm like, why did I plan that on Saturday? But we had a breastplate and choker class for kids. 40, I think it was like 43, 40, maybe it was, I think that one was 47. People showed up. And then we did traditional cooking with Cleo Kinmill on a Friday during Christmas break. And like 27 kids showed up at 9 o'clock in the morning. I was really impressed how many high schoolers actually got up to come spend the day with us during Christmas break. And then we did the regalia. So we had ribbon shirts and ribbon skirts and wing dresses to get ready for jump dance. So, and sometimes the kids kind of pitch an idea and we try our best to make it happen. And if we can't do it right when they want, we find a way to make it happen. So maybe at camp, we may have to wait a little bit longer for us to make something work. But
so this grant that I wrote, what it really brings in is all of the things you're hearing about, but we can pay knowledge keepers for their time and we can purchase the supplies for 130 kids in a single day to do that activity. And we can send the kids to the Salish language conference. We can do these kinds of things where tribal ed has always been supporting the schools, but when this kind of money is coming in, then we have more opportunities to offer our kids. And so that's a big part of what this is all about, but it's kind of building itself. So every year at the end, when we do this video, they kind of tell their own stories, right? And it just ends up being this story that gets told from whatever happened from the previous year. So like I said, we're in year 4 of a 5-year grant, but I do intend to reapply for it, and that would be another 5 years. So
Are you trying to incorporate the other reservation schools, or is it because of limited resources and
it's
classroom
because
sizes
of the grant itself.
Right.
And so when I wrote the grant,
For
it was
funding you.
pre-COVID, and they said you can only select 3 school districts. And so like the state of Montana has one through OPI, and they have Dillon, Rocky Boys, and Billings for their 3 school districts. And so I thought, to be fair, I would go with the school districts that had the highest population of Native students. And at that time, it was Mission, Polson, and Ronan. If I were to do it today, it would be Arlee, Ronan, and Mission. And Polson would get the boot. But that's just how the requirements were. So that's why I selected those 3. But the other school districts get that support too through tribal ed funded dollars, but not as much. Like it's not saturated in the districts.
And they will have other school districts call us because they hear like,
Yeah.
oh, Danca,
They're
can do
missing
this
out.
or
Yeah.
Mission.
Yeah.
Is there, can we get a knowledge keeper? And so we've been able to do that to some extent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, how does somebody get a knowledge keeper into their classroom?
That is a really good question. So the first thing that we do so that all of the districts can just like take a breath and sigh of relief is we background check and drug test everybody. And so we have this list of people, and let's say that elementary classroom requests a specific thing. Maybe they want to learn about Bitterroot, right? Then we go through our list and see which of those knowledge keepers are experts in that. And then we'll see which one has the time that they can commit to going into that classroom. And so that's how it works out. And then the teacher really doesn't have to do anything except for expect the person to come in, and then we provide the person and the supplies and pay for them. So, yeah. So thank you for working with us, Jason. We are loving this crazy ride.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For the opportunity.
Yeah.
Thank you for Ms. Claremont. She's doing a great job. And Myrna too. Make sure you thank her. We see her in here a lot.
Oh, yeah. She loves missions.
Thank you. Okay, let's see, we move on to correspondence with the retirement.
So Ms. Rodriguero is retiring at the end of this year. So 28 years in the district, worked in the middle school, elementary, serving in many capacities and throughout her career. But yeah, Ms. Rodriguero is retiring, so she'll be greatly missed. She's not done teaching, but she is retiring from the state of Montana. So
I wish her well. No old business, board preparation and planning.
goals are updated in there. If you have a chance, look through there. Not a whole lot. PIR day, Monday. Just continue. That was our last PIR day for this year. It's crazy. It's already winding down. So yes, yeah, take a look at those. Let me know if you have questions.
Anybody got any questions for him? Okay, we'll move on to new business. 10.01 shop edition is finally completed, looks like.
Yep, we had the final checkoff in December, so shop is done.
That's it. No more checks.
That was the two items.
That was the two big ones. Yep, that should be it. That wraps up that part of my career.
I just have one question. I'd like to walk through it sometime, but the doors that were the old solid doors, are they so that he can see out in there from, are they still the solid doors? Or maybe he just leaves them open?
Yeah, they're still there.
The walk-in doors.
Yeah, I'm just concerned for supervision there, but maybe you can just leave them open.
Yeah, you could open up the garage door too.
See in
You
there.
don't see,
You can't really see through from the existing into the new.
Right, you'd wanna have that, if they're working in there, that will be open.
Yeah, and maybe if it comes an issue, he wants to swap those doors out because they could be an interior door now, basically.
Right.
Windowed.
Anybody else? Okay, move on to 10.02 vacancy riff.
So, yeah, we just had, Mr. Morjo was interested in moving from special ed to the opening and secondary PE. Vacancy riff committee voted, just unfortunately unanimously for recommending the denial of that request. And I wish we could consider moves, but right now the shortage of special ed teachers in the state of Montana, we've been trying for 2 years to find a special ed teacher and we just can't find them. So we're recommending the denial of the move, but also with the caveat of opening special ed as well. If we can find a special ed teacher, then we could open it up for consideration of a possible move at that time. But we would first need to have a special ed teacher before we can consider moving the special ed teacher to a PE position. PE's even gonna be hard to find. We had a difficult time. We were all the way up until August, last time we looked for a PE teacher. So at this time, we're recommending to deny the move of Mr. Morrison.
So you'll deny the move of Mr. Marjo, but we'll open up the special ed position.
Open up a special ed.
A
position.
special ed position, and if we find somebody, then Mr. Morjo can move.
Revisit that.
So would we have to like reapply or would you have to go through the vacancy rep committee again?
We would probably go through the vacancy rep committee again, yes.
Is the university system, they have some new program where, is it remote education that maybe is shortened to get sped teachers? Did I hear something about that in Bozeman maybe?
Yeah, they're working, I think it's more of an internship type speed tracking, trying to speed track some of that because they're just not out there. You know, our best chances is probably finding someone from our district that's willing or possibly interested that we could pay to go back and get the special ed endorsement on a fast track.
Or a para that's interested in.
Yeah. We wouldn't be able to pay, and that's the problem, is we wouldn't be able to pay a para to get their BA, but we could pay for them with the agreement of the union to pay for the endorsement. We can't, unfortunately, I wish we could pay for the BA. I mean, but that's just, we're getting into waters where we can't justify one over. So. Yeah, it's a real issue. I mean, it's a real issue for any position these days, actually. So, yeah, it's not just special ed, but special ed is especially hard.
Okay. Make a motion on that.
I'll make the motion to accept the recommendation of the vacancy rep committee against moving Mr. Morjo to the PE position at this time. Do you want me to read the whole thing?
Just make sure that we don't you recognize that we're all going to open up both with the consideration.
All right, so we'll open up both the special ed position and the PE position. And if a qualified applicant is found for special ed, we will revisit the possibility of moving Mr. Morjo to PE.
Okay, perfect.
I second that.
Thank you. Been moving seconded. Any other discussion?
As you, because he was getting that third of the salary, will that be offered to the person that would maybe apply for the sped position?
That's more than likely going to go away next year just because of numbers and done it for 2 years, and I think we've got it balanced well enough now that I don't, at this time, we haven't visited that yet, but I don't know.
Yeah.
That will be next year, and we really haven't got that far yet.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, move second, all those in favor?
Okay.
Okay, on to 10.03 out of district. Student listed in executive content.
I make the motion to recommend out of district student listed in executive content for second semester.
Yes, we can do.
Okay, moving second, any discussion?
Did that go over within all the districts that when it dissolved? It was just,
Yeah, Polson changed theirs, so just the two of us right now, I believe, are open, but they will all be opening back up. My guess.
Moving second, all those in favor? 10.04 out of state travel for the Salish Language Conference in Spokane.
So all the details haven't been completely worked out, but we're recommending out of district or out of state travel for Salish Language Conference in Spokane.
I make the motion to recommend out of district travel for Salish Language Conference in Spokane, March 11th through 15th.
second that.
Okay, we're moving second, any discussion? Is this grant funded? Well, I was trying to figure out how, or fundraising, how.
As far as I know, and Ms. Claremont, if you can refresh my memory, that is in the Aware grant, right? The travel to the conference.
Michelle to maybe
It's-
address that.
I believe that it is. I just have to refresh.
So last year it was.
It was.
So this year, with the funding that goes kind of into the school, I think it pulls from that. That the Department of Work gives.
So, yeah, it's
I
provided
thought you mentioned that.
through the Aware grant.
Right, but it wasn't stated, that's just.
But then last year, I'm not sure we went last year.
Just
Did
so
we?
we're not. I said it, yes.
Did we go last year?
Yeah.
No, it won't be as many kids, so there'll be 6 students. And it's on an application basis, so if not many kids apply, then it's just 4, and then it's 4. So 6 high school students, and then 2 adults would be myself, and then Miss Polly Fry.
I think there's a little money in Title VI as well. So
There's a little money in Title VI for travel as well.
All right, anybody else? Then moving second, all those in favor? Okay, 10.05 multi-district agreement unemployment.
Okay, so this is, and for a very quick discussion on this, our unemployment goes through MTSBA. This is the first year, or through MSUIP, which is basically a partner with MTSBA. So this is the first year they've required it, but because it's going to be a lot like, I think, the insurance plans that are coming up, where they're basically multi-district in theory. There's many districts that are going into the same pot to provide that coverage. MTSBA has requested this multiple times. I've sent it back to them multiple times saying we're not in a multi-district agreement. It's because we're not in a multi-district agreement with another district for funding purposes. This is just for providing insurance. So with your blessing, we would sign that and send that back in. Basically paperwork.
And signing it and sending it back in says what?
Says that we will be part of the unemployment insurance program, which we are already signed up for and is being provided.
But not multi-district.
Well, it will be through MTSBA, MSUIP. So it will be multi-district, but not with multiple schools. We will be an individual entity in the big pool.
similar to what the new insurance
similar to what our health insurance will become if that passes.
Same idea.
Yep. And that's where this is all going down, is that if that all goes through, this is what you'll see all of these coming up for all of our agreements.
I'd recommend the approval of the multi-district agreement with MSUP.
I'll second that.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any other discussion?
So my sense, reading this, and yeah, I guess I didn't quite understand the implications there, but my sense reading it was that it being in a multi-district program was cheaper than.
Yes. That's the assumption that I have as well, that they decided to do that on a bigger level and then ask for permission to provide that better rate. Is kind of what feels like the process has been. So that's how they kept me in the
Can I ask about time stamping?
So you see all the timestamps in there?
You sent this in.
Yes, and then I sent it back. What is this? And then they would timestamp it and send it back. We need to sign. And I sent it back. Well, what is this? You know, and I never really got a lot of. I had to dig into MTSBA and figure out what it was. So finally, over break, I did that, and then I told Jason, I was like, well, we kind of need to do this. We're a few months behind. Look at all the timestamps.
Do we have many unemployment situations as a?
Not often. The main thing you will see when it pops up is like the hourly employees will sometimes apply for it, and whether or not it's approved or not. And sometimes subs will, but we don't have a lot to go through.
Because a letter of intent eliminates you from unemployment insurance.
As far as I'm aware, yes. Yes.
Makes sense. So they can't get unemployment over the summer if they have a letter of intent.
Right.
You gotta be let go.
It's,
Which is the only time.
you'll be surprised at how often that's tried though, but it is.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely then just the paperwork process is we say, well, yeah, they have a letter of intent. That's all part of the process, so.
Any discussion? Okay, we're moving second in. All those in favor?
All right, thank you. That'll be time-stamped completed tomorrow, Mr. Marchand.
10.06 trustee election resolution.
This one is also mine. We have an election coming up May 6th. We have one position open, and it will be for a 3-year term. And by voting for this today, you fall into the window of approving a trustee election, whatever 110 days prior. The language is I always get screwed up. Regardless, you can either approve it this month or next month. I choose to approve it this month so that we can get it to the county and have it all ready to go.
I make a motion to approve the trustee election on May sixth, 2025 by mail ballot if there are more candidates than there are positions to be filled. If not, trustees will be seated by acclamation.
Second that.
Okay, been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Okay, we will have an election on May 6th if there's enough people.
Okay, 10.07 employment, new substitute teacher. What's background?
Yeah, so recommending Ray. Ray worked down at Cornerstone. And at the restaurant. Taco Place. So he's background is complete, so recommending Ray for 7.
Would move to recommend to hire Ray Donovan.
Second that.
The move and seconded. Any discussion?
On the fire department as well.
Yes. Okay, all those in favor? Okay, brings us on to the 10.08 annual superintendent evaluation.
Okay,
Mr. Board Chair, you can read this.
Yeah, where is it?
Sorry. It's on the board. On the screen.
This is after we start.
So the review is in closed session, right? So you've determined that quorum present, you'll be right to here pursuant to 2-3.
Oh, there we go. That's what it's.
Step 3.
Pursuant to 2-3-203 MCA, I determined that the individual's right to privacy outweighs the public's right to know. And I declare the meeting closed at 7:59.
7:59.
So if we can ask everybody to leave, that's not the superintendent.
I will be following up for a quick second.
Lurking in the shadows.
Mr. Nestor, can you take care of, thank you.
Working on it right now.
Just wanted to say if you have any other questions or just want to reach out and chat, I live just across the way and you guys know where I work, so.
Thank you.
But thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
All right.
We're still live.
Trying to make sure it gets moving here. And that's not that, so it is this one.